Hey everybody, how are you doing? Elizabeth Varian here. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to teach tonight's topic. And the reason is because it's an eye-opener topic. Before I get into it though, I do want to let you know I posted an announcement in our Facebook group that I won't be doing Facebook Live for the rest of February and probably the first week in March. Because the Bible study and our teaching videos, it just isn't working out. I'm interrupting them, they're interrupting me, and it's Mondays is the only day we can do it. I can record, but staying late at the office on a Monday after a crazy day, not necessarily beneficial for me. So as we always say, I created this, but I also saw it as an opportunity that both of us are kind of busting out of this shared office space, and it's probably time that I got my own. And so I'm seeing it as a positive. So just know that we will be recording them. So on YouTube, you will notice that the video quality is much higher. And if you're listening via podcast, you don't notice any difference at all. So alrighty, so what is tonight's topic that I am so stoked about? Well, the title of this teaching is The Warrior Will Always Create and Attract a Battle or War that They Are Seeking. Think about it. The warrior will create or attract a battle or a war because that's what they're creating and seeking, right? It will always be. Warriors, if we want to define it, in this proper way, that can be if you want to conquer evil, right? You get pumped up. I'm going after child molesters. I'm gonna go for, like Tony Robbins says, I want to feed the hungry. And he will tout, I have fed, X amount of millions, and I'm going to feed this much more in the next, and I'm going to feed this much more in the next. He has to have millions of hungry people to feed to meet that goal and need. You're like, Elizabeth, wait a minute, but that's a good thing. Yes, it is. Sort of. Think about the laws of manifestation. Everything in this world is energy, right? And we are creating and attracting that which we are focused and intended on. So if you're going to get irritated, just stop if you start getting tense when I say certain things and breathe through it. Because I'm not covering an easy topic. A warrior needs a battle to feel alive. Remember that. Tony Robbins remembers when he was poor and a family brought him Thanksgiving dinner, and that's how they were able to eat that holiday. And his thinking is, in turn, he wants to feed millions more. And you're going to say to me, but Elizabeth, there are millions of poor people and hungry people in this world. And I'm going to say to you, of course there is, because there's millions and hundreds of thousands of people like Tony Robbins that wants to have millions of people in this world to feed. Why not feed them with knowledge as well to build up their own lives so you don't have to give them something? Now, before you start thinking political, again, breathe. This is not about politics. This is not about teaching the man to fish or giving the man fish. This is about teaching the man the mindset to see the fish coming to him. If it works for us, it works for everybody. One law for all, right? So I want to have this teaching so that you really process and think about what your intentions are. The coach in Business Coach, they need people who are struggling in business. Do those people exist? Yes. Does it feel good when they help the person? Absolutely. There's two parts to the magnet that are attracting each other. But it's okay in one sense to say, okay, they're struggling business, I've helped them. But if you're looking at things always in that negative way, instead of a struggling business, let's take that. Instead of the struggling business owner who needs the helping hand, why not say, you know what, the business owner who is excited to go to the next level. You're still helping business owners, but you're shifting from the person who's struggling in a negative energy to one in a positive energy. And we're going to touch on this on all the topics, so don't worry. So, therefore, you as the warrior, you're creating what you want to fight, battle, or conquer. Okay? So let's break it down to some niblets. Remember, breathe. If I touch a sore subject for you, because I'm starting with politics. So, politics. The name Donald Trump either has you cheering or has you angry, calling him all sorts of names from the propaganda that's put out there. Whether it's true or not, I take no judgment, right? But focusing during a political race on beating and only on that person, the one thing that the winning campaigns every year seem to do is they get everybody on both sides focused on the one that won. The ones who are against them focusing on what they don't like about him. But the more you focus on something is the more you're going to get something. Well, what was the biggest focus this time? It wasn't about Hillary winning. It was literally how horrible Donald Trump was. All the propaganda was focused on Trump. All of the media was focused on Trump. If you probably compared the percentage of Trump versus Clinton conversation, it was stronger on Trump. And that which you focus on, where your attention goes, energy flows. And when you focus on what you don't want, you get more of what you don't want. When you focus on what you want, you get what you want. So you want to shift from focusing on that candidate that you are in opposition of. And you want to start focusing on the candidate that you are for. So let's all turn Facebook on. Who's lost friends here because of the political arena, right? Why? Because people are buying into propaganda. Now, let me just be straight up for you. I'm an independent. I think both sides suck. I think both sides have issues. I think if you closed your eyes and you went back 4 years ago and you listened to the propaganda today, you wouldn't know which side was on which side. That's my opinion. I'm welcome to it. But you are also welcome to yours. However, if what you're seeking and intending is for your candidate, then you need to quit focusing on the opposition. Because remember, in the laws of manifestation, there is no competition. And yet you say, okay, only one person can win the gold medal, only one person can be president, only one person, only one. True. But you don't know. Good example. The second election with Obama against Romney. I heard both candidates. I'd never gone to a rally before, and I went. And when I heard Romney speak, I felt very little energy of desire from him. Excuse me. And then afterwards, they had this documentary, and the very first things out of their mouth is, well, what happens if we lose? And this was supposedly them in the deciding factor. If you start a campaign wanting to lose, guess what? You're gonna lose. So you don't know when a candidate wins what the magnet underneath or behind them was when it comes to manifestation. But I can tell you, based on this last election, that even those against Trump was so overtly focused on Trump. Even I, who had 2 political websites that I was building in Webmaster for Hire, had followed politics even more. And the whole time I'm going, really? Trump's in this? Look at all these people. They just dropped out one by one. I'm like, really? He's still here? Because what was I doing? I was only focused on him. I couldn't tell you anyone else that was running but maybe one or two people. There was a third guy on the Democrat side, and I can't even tell you his name. I know he was in a debate, and I know he didn't do very well in that debate. But you didn't know who he was, or at least I didn't, because there was no attention put there. So you want to vote or focus solely on why this candidate is the best, why this candidate is the positive, not why they're not like the other. Make sense? So when you are politically determined that this law has to pass because you guys suck, or this is unfair, you're going to get more unfair, you're going to get more battles against other people that resolves nothing, moves you nowhere. And even though you feel that pumped up warrior feeling, because that's how people feel, there's a major adrenaline rush when people are battling in knowledge battles on Facebook. I was part of them, and I said, whoa, this is not helping my life. I need to knock it off. And you won't see political posts on my Facebook page. You will for the past few years, but you won't now. But even then, mostly I wanted intellectual conversations from both sides, because I wanted to hear, well, why do you think? If you have an opposite opinion than me, I'm not going to attack you. I'm going to go, well, why do you feel that way? Because I really want to know why you feel that way. There's something maybe I'm missing in my opinion. It's not that I'm willing or wanting or desiring to change it, but I want to open my horizons. Not everybody is that way. But you do get trapped in these battles. If you're Republican, you don't like the Democrats. If you're Democrat, you don't like the Republicans. And the fact of the matter is no side is right and no side is wrong. Because in the laws of manifestation, there is no judgment. There's no competition. And if we're all energy and all collective conscious energy, then there needs to be a way to bring that unity. But what you're finding is the magnets are getting stronger in the negative because they're getting stronger against each other. Because the warrior will always create and attract his battle or his war. Okay, so enough on the politics. If you want a politician to win, if you want to find peace and harmony in politics, you need to focus on the positive, if you can find it. I'm just kidding. I couldn't resist. Come on. Okay, holding people accountable. This is actually what kind of triggered this. 3 a.m., what I call my 3 a.m. Holy Ghost workshop. I was an old school Catholic here, using Holy Ghost. At 3 a.m., I woke up and was given this entire teaching. And it was about a week or so after a friend of mine said that it was her battle cry to hold people accountable who are religious leaders to what the Bible says. The warrior will create and attract his or her battle or war. So what does that mean? That means she's going to attract more and more people who are not aligned with her beliefs and teaching and preaching them about the Bible. And that gives her that energy, that warrior energy, right? That battle cry. I loved it when she used that word because that's exactly what it is. It's a battle cry. And she's going to hold them accountable to those truths. Well, if you read the Bible, not to point it out and its truths, but you need to be forgiving. 7 times 7 times 7 D70 times, right? You need to be loving. You need to, Jesus was angry once, and it was when there were merchants selling off offerings in the church. he had a lot of reasons to be pretty pissed off, and yet he wasn't. Nails on the cross through here, and he was asking for forgiveness. So if you're going to hold people accountable to the Bible by having a battle cry, then you're kind of going against the Bible to begin with. If you seek to have a biblical truth aligned with what you say that the Bible has, or any religion whatsoever, let's just forget Christianity. Let's look at Judaism. Judaism has New Age sects within it and traditional Orthodox. You have two different types of battling Muslims in the Middle East. I don't want to say one and forget the others, but I know there's Sunnis, and I can never remember the other one. I'm sorry. But they have two different beliefs, and I know it came from a death where one believed that they were supposed to take over and the other believed that they were supposed to take over. So it's not just one religion that says, oh, we have many different beliefs. Every religion, everyone has their take on it. And if you want to hold people accountable, you're going to just continually find people who aren't being aligned with your belief in that religion. Instead, wouldn't it be more beneficial to your life to find people who do align with what the Word says, who do align with what your belief and the Word says, right? And wouldn't it mean that that energy of alignment, where you're now in a spiritual state of worship with like-minded people, creates that joy energy, that love energy, that gratitude energy, and the true, honest-to-goodness state of worship? Versus, mark him down, that ain't right, Or if they're on television and being angry over that pastor. If you're really a Christian, God says he has the kings in the palm of his hand. Do you not believe that God is still El Shaddai, meaning God Almighty? Do you not believe that your Jesus is still on the throne and still fully capable and working through the lives of men? So that warrior mentality is just going to consistently show up, but it's not going to be actually improving anything except for bringing and attracting more of that negative. Okay. So let's touch on something a little different. So we've got the warrior fighting, battling, battle cry, right? Arr! It's more like Tim the Toolman Taylor. So what about the belief that people have that you can only manifest experiences that either help others or build up others? In other words, we are brought in this world only to help other people. Sounds like a great, noble thought, doesn't it? But is it really? I was actually at a spiritual person's home for services that they were rendering. I'm not going to say what or who, but it was in past 2 months in December. And the person said to me, what's your give back? She said, and I'm like, what? She's like, well, for you to manifest $60,000 a month, there's a trade-off. You have to give something to get something. Sound familiar? They're actually preaching that in the church. And they're using Malachi, where it says, test me in this, where God says, to give your tithe, which is 10% of your gross income, not your business revenue, just saying it's your personal income. And there's a trade-off. And they teach if you want. There's a lot of preachers out there. John Anvanzini was the first one I had ever heard of in the 90s, who sent out letters saying that the best way to give or to get money is to give money, so send us money. And you will get it from God because we're a spiritual place. Remove all judgment at this time. And for those of you who received those letters and you did them, followed those, just go breathe through them. Just breathe through it. So they would include testimonials that said, this person sent us $533, and they were 2 months behind in their mortgage, and 2 weeks later they won the lottery, and now they're a millionaire, or an aunt died and left them, money, or they found money, or whatever the story is. Some people will teach you that to manifest money, you have to give money. To manifest clothes, you have to clear out your closet. Now, I teach decluttering, but it isn't for the purpose of I'm going to get rid of my clothes to get clothes. I teach, I need to get rid of the clothes that I have not worn in a year, no longer suit my style, no longer fit me, are not going to be worn again, to make space for the capacity to open up, to receive things that I am grateful for, I will be wearing. That's a difference. I'm not giving to get. I'm making room. I'm preparing my fields. Very different intention, very different mindset, and very different energy. If you don't get it, let me know and I'll talk you through it. So, giving to get. Okay, so she said that we're created to bring into the lives of others. You have a payoff. And what are you giving back for good things? What's your give back for good things? Now, ultimately, she said, oh, well, you want to create this business that helps other people and blah, blah, blah. I suppose if you want to stretch it that far, that's great. Anything I do, I have a passion for helping other people succeed. It just brings me joy. And you all know what I like about joy energy. It's my high. And I'm enjoying my joy energy. But it doesn't mean that I don't manifest things just for me. Manifesting for other people and having a trade-off is not the manifestation laws. And a lot of people, unfortunately, believe this. What do they say? Well, I want to win the lottery so I can give. Do you know that the statistics on the lottery win and being poor and having it all gone is within 3 to 5 to 7 year time frame, all the money is gone? There's various reasons as to why, but I actually have a client in my web design business that does the annuity, the payoffs, and he had a client that had a lottery win that kept coming back to him for more money. So what he would do is he would get the payments and he would give at 50% or whatever the percentage is. It's a big chunk. The guy got less. So every time he would go, the guy would give up more money just to have it in the now. So you want to win the lottery so you can give more. I say give now and enjoy it, but don't forget to give to yourself, because you've got to enjoy life. And yes, you might enjoy giving, but at some point you're going to realize you haven't given within. Taken time for yourself. Take yourself shopping. Oh no, I couldn't do that. Why not? It's so easy to think of other people, especially moms have this problem, and dads, that it's all about other people. Well, when those other people in your house, grow up, as they do, trust me, my God babies aren't babies anymore. I don't believe it, but really they aren't. They move out and they go and get their own life. Then who are you? A lot of my friends, when their children started leaving the nest, they were deciding what I had already been focused on for the last 10 years or more. Who am I? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having children, But in a relationship, the proper order should always be take care of yourself, take care of your spouse, take care of your kids. Because when you do that, you set up the model to show your kids how to live a healthy life and how to have a healthy marriage and how to have healthy relationships and how to take care of themselves. So let's go back to our point, which is giving to get it's not manifesting laws. It's create, attract, and allow. Those 3 laws. Everything else fits in those 3 laws. Okay? It may sound good and moral that I'm battling the world. I'm going to take on, insert whatever, cause, whatever disease, whatever issues, hunger, starvation, abuse. But if we believe in the laws of manifestation where we are attracting into our lives, then we're attracting the battle and the war. We're attracting to go and find. I had a police officer friend said, Elizabeth, there doesn't need to be a quota for speed tickets, but if I'm bored and I want to have, a day where my time goes by faster, he basically uses the law of manifestation to find speeders. So what is he doing? He's creating speeders. Doesn't sound so nice when you hear it from that side, does it? But then I say to you, what about the abusers? We want to create a battle cry. You've got to create the battle. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale actually talked about this in a story that he had in the book Positive Imaging, the Powerful Way to Change Your Life. Christian, pastor, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. He proved this with a story about a famous Hollywood producer using positive imaging. And the story that he tells, and I don't think he ever told the producer's name, but apparently this producer had talked to him. And there was a married woman that was an assistant of his, and he wanted to have an affair with her. And he decided he was going to use the power of imaging and played out the whole scenario. And then it came to play. It actually happened. There's nothing moral about an affair. There's nothing positive about it. We said one law for all. You may not like hearing it. You only want to hear about the money coming in, the romantic relationships, the improved relationships, the losing weight, all the good stuff in life. But there are battle cries that are being called out that people are creating the battle. And what ended up happening, according to Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, is she ended up getting pregnant. Well, they're both married. So he told her to get an abortion. She didn't get an abortion. She committed suicide and left a note and called him out in this note. It's not going to play out nicely all the time. So positive imaging and laws of manifestation, anybody can use. It's what do you focus on? Don't want to always bring them up, but if you think about ISIS, the one thing they did was they focused on massive media and massive getting their message out, not just to recruit, but if they can put your attention on fear, then they're creating their battle. If you don't focus on it and you shift away from it, you're detaching from their battle. Food for thought. So, if we think that manifesting can only be for others, then I say, what about my cruise to Alaska? Actually, what about a lot of things that I've manifested? It only served me. The other person that had asked for me to come on, she didn't need a second person. She's been on cruises all her life. And so I'm not against helping others. I'm not against charities, and I'm not against the positive. But I've got to tell you, it made me think about a friend of mine because I didn't understand this concept years ago. And I had joined a committee for the American Heart Association American Cancer Society. And it was the relay for life. And that's where you walk consistently all night long. Well, you're supposed to do all night. I don't think we did all night. And I decided I was going to join. My friend Lisa, who inadvertently or coincidentally, if you will, passed away of cancer, she was gung-ho for the team. And within weeks of us starting this team, her nephew, we found out, had leukemia, a form of cancer. And so we became the Ryan's Hope team because his name was Ryan. And she raised the most money. She was all excited about it. So why do I tell you this? Because I have a friend who was at the time making cookies. And she's like, Elizabeth, I don't really give to any charities or anything that deals with diseases. I only deal with or help promote, helping those who are illiterate. And she started to tell me, but I probably had a confused look on my face because we're talking considerable amount of time in the past. And I get it now. Dis-ease is, disease is dis-ease in our bodies. My dad, who says he doesn't believe in manifestation, said he read in a report one time that said people who got cancer, if a percentage of them, which was large, were told they were getting cancer and they believed it, they inevitably got it. So he says, so I'm just not going to believe I'm getting it and I just won't get it. And that, in an essence, is manifestation, whether he agrees with it or not. So tonight's goal is ultimately to get you to rethink your focus and what you think is noble. So I don't want you to give up on charities. I don't say give up and not believe there are poor people or believe, or not try and help people. I say we need to rethink our battle cry. We need to rethink and refocus our intentions on what it is we really want to attract and create. Does that make sense? So, energized magnet, you create and attract what you focus on. But did you think to attract helping others have to be in need and then be attracted to you with that need just so you can experience feeling good, accomplished, or as the warrior, right? Let me say that again. I'm going to say it very slowly. And here I go up on my toes again. Okay. To attract helping others have to be either created or put in a position to be attracted to you with a need just so you can experience feeling good, feeling accomplished, and having that warrior conqueror mode. So instead, you want to shift thinking from conquer, battle, and fighting. Politically, you want to only focus on the positives of your favored or your preferred candidate or party. Religiously, here comes toe cramp. Religiously, focus on building up religious truths within your reach for the positive. Instead of going after the pastors that you believe aren't being in alignment with what God says according to what your perspective of the Bible is, go and teach your own Bible classes. Go teach your Bible studies. Go lead a Bible study. Go find a leader that is in alignment with what you believe. Hungry and poor, instead of focusing on lack in others, focusing on teaching to feed, starting cooking classes, gardening, community, and unity for the joy of the activity, and sharing your joy in those activities and bringing that joy to others. Do you notice a difference? So, teaching kids empowerment and getting into the schools so that they know they have all the tools within them. They are very wise. They are very knowledgeable. That this is a good path of tools in positive thinking, meditation, all things that are useful, is better than going and saying, there's so many children molested. Give them their voice. I'm going to help give a voice. I'm going to, my intention is to empower. I want to make sure I state this correctly. And don't think I'm making light of any of these situations, because I'm not. But I do know that what I focus on is where the energy goes, and what I create, I attract. I don't desire to keep attracting hungry and poor people. I personally don't cook. I don't garden. There's not 1 ounce of me that is domesticated by any sense of the word. However, I love watching cooking shows. So if I chose to, I could find a community that I could teach. I could have, if I loved cooking, I could go teach cooking. And you could teach cooking at affordable rates for healthy eating. Instead of all these documentaries about why our food sucks, have a documentary about how to get nutritional quality food. What helps? Because if I focus on the fact that, I got to start this diet, I don't get to eat this, I don't get to eat that, what am I going to focus on? I'm focused on everything that I can't have. But if you love teaching and you have that Tony Robbins feel, someone brought you food and you want to return and give back positive energy in this world, then show up by having, how do I teach people to be able to provide for themselves? How can I make a shift, if people desire it, to come up to that next level? Okay? So there's a mind shift in how you speak, how you think, and what you write for your intentions. Now, is helping others bad? Again, no. It is not bad. But let me tell you about how this world works. Since we really are connected by energy, we are all one conscious collective energy. And we are coming into each other's lives and crossing paths for reasons. Okay? I didn't start this Facebook group, which I have said, time and time again. I didn't start this group for anybody else. First and foremost, I started it for me, myself, and I, my 3 favorite people, right? I love you all. I'm so grateful and thankful that you have showed up. I'm amazed and excited that people are actually watching these videos. It gives me going, what else do I want to teach if someone's going to listen? But mostly I'm still teaching because I'm still learning. I'm getting it down. I'm focused on manifesting, and I'm still reaping the rewards. However, I needed a massive shift in my life, and teaching brought it about. Having said that, by helping myself first, helping myself has spilled out and over, because that's how energy works. It's spilled out and over where someone manifested a promotion, another person has manifested a laptop. Everyone is starting to see things pop up, and they're starting to open their eyes to see the magic. I get excited when I hear that, but I'm not creating people with lack. I seek to get people who want to learn this exciting new laws. I love these laws. Anytime I talk, if I'm on another group, I try to be cautious to not put links in the groups, to our group, and try and be respectful of the other group. But I'm always saying, hey, don't forget the law of allowing. Don't forget the law of creation. You have to create, attract, and allow. You need all 3 laws to make it happen. Because I love teaching. A teacher will show up for the student. Students will show up for the teacher. How much more positive that than the warrior seeking the war in the battle? Unless you're really enjoying the battle, I guess. So for me, it did spill over to other people. Well, that's what happens when you start attracting and creating for yourself. For you parents, you're creating for yourself, and then your children are watching. Well, how did you do that? I was watching, I mentioned her many times, Tasha Chan. I don't get to see her when she's live at 8 because I'm either driving or, I'm in transit. But when I get to the office, I'll watch her Monday, Super Manifesting Monday, I think she calls it. And today she had her son on there, and she was learning from him. That is her filling herself up, and it's spilling over to her children. And then what happens? It comes right back to her again, and then right back out to anyone listening. Energy is always flowing and moving. So don't let it get stale. Watch it move. Know that you will help others, but it's okay to help yourself. Now let's think about my cruise. My cruise, I manifested for myself, but I did end up spilling over to others because there were 2 women who are wives who had asked to go on this group that their husbands weren't able to go, and it was their husbands that were invited, and they asked could they go even if their husbands weren't going, because they wanted to, go to Alaska. And the group had said yes. Well, I know about these women because when I went on my first excursion, I met one of them and we hung out together. It gave me a companion and I became a companion to her. And then on the second excursion, I met the other woman. And then another night they were sitting together. Turns out they were roommates. So even though it was all for me, myself, and I tried to help out where I could, but there wasn't really much to do. The woman was just there to communicate between the group and the cruise ship. Then for these 2 women, I ended up being companions to them so they weren't by themselves. So you are creating for yourself, and by focusing on yourself, the positive is you get the enjoyment of the experience, but then you overflow with the energy to all collective, connective, conscious energy. So let go of the belief that the laws of manifestations are for only helping other people, because all you're going to get are other people who need help. And sometimes that can drag you down. I said for years that in my business, I want to help people. I want to make, a difference in this world. My purpose in business is always to help other people succeed. I learned that if you only focused on helping people, your FPL bill didn't get paid because all these people wanted barters, but FPL doesn't barter. They want their money. So you have to make money if you're in business. And you have to realize that one of your clientele has to be people who make a certain amount of money, or they can't afford you. So you create and attract people getting that money. Now, let's go on that same thought. And we'll wrap it up here because it's not going to be too long tonight. I'm not going to go the full hour. But manifesting coaches, I have watched where people have said in the comments, I signed up for your $10,000 coaching course. I'm coming and being part of your $20,000 manifesting group. And these numbers are not outrageous, by the way. They are very consistent in the coaching world, not just manifesting coaching, business coaching, life coaching, whatever. Okay? I'm not a coach, but I know these rates exist. I will consistently read people commenting on these coaches' pages that I'm stepping out in faith. I'm going to do this. And I will go back and read, and sure enough, they came back going, I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I knew I wanted this. They were white hot, on fire. So they signed up for the course. They stepped out in faith with an inspired action. Don't do it out of fear or because someone told you to, but an inspired action, unless them telling you was inspired. You will know. Inspired action, they stepped out, and sure enough, the money showed up. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and buy these courses. I'm not telling you not to go out and buy these courses. I'm not against them. I have no connection to any of them. But the fact of the matter is, when the person set their rate, they said, my time is valuable. I am worth X amount. I know that one-on-one trading of time and people isn't for me. I want group, so masterminds. If you follow Napoleon Hill, so they'll have masterminds. I'm thinking of 5 people already that their masterminds are $10,000 to $20,000. And it's because you're in their group, you're on a call with them every month, you're part of the group's community pages, you get training videos, whatever the person's courses are. But they have determined that their value is worthy of X amount of dollars. Well, what happens is what they've determined and they've intended, they've created, and then they attract. And then others who come along that people would go, oh, well, they can't afford that. You're not really helping that person. Those are the very testimonials that I read, that they stepped out in faith, and sure enough, they had the money and then some before it was due. So by going after the positive and not having that battle cry of I've got to do good for everybody or I'm doing XYZ, by focusing on your positive intention, these coaches I have seen over a decade or more, people coming along and coming up to afford them. I've seen it with the law of attraction comments. I've seen it, I'm thinking there's a French lady, I can't think of her name right now, Fabienne Fredrickson. I've seen it with Denise Dufflo Thomas. I've seen comments on hers. I've seen comments with Jack Canfield's group, with other coaching groups. I mean, there's coaching everywhere. And you can think negatively of these coaches. You're just going to keep getting more proof that you're right. Or you can see that people are they come up to that coaching level because they're ready for the next level. Does that make sense? So instead of focusing on someone having the negative that you bring them up, focus on people who are ready for that next level that you can come alongside and bring up. It's much easier. I mean, everyone keeps using the term easy and relaxed. How much easier is it and more relaxed is it to come alongside someone who is excited to level up, to come up to that next level, to learn something more from you, than it is to have that battle cry. You can stay in warrior mode as long as you want, but it's going to play out in your body. Your body can't handle that negative energy for so long. And it will play on your body and it'll plague your body because it is low energy. That warrior, that battle cry. So come along, someone who wants to level up. Don't go and battle in warrior. You really want to focus on manifesting for yourself so it spills over for others. So back to the title of this teaching. The warrior will always create and attract a battle and or war that they are seeking. Are you still seeking the battle and the war where you're going to create and attract the hungry? You're going to create and attract the negative? You're going to create and attract the wrong politician according to your belief systems? You're going to create and attract more wrongdoing in your mind, religious leaders? Or are you going to relax and let go of that and focus on going after the right candidate and promoting the one who's aligned with your belief? Going after and promoting the religious leaders that's aligned? Which one feels better, right? Are you going to be focused on only always doing for others? Or shift to realizing that when you do for yourself or come alongside people who are ready to level up, it's more easier, let me be proper in my English, it's easier and more relaxed. So that's tonight's teaching. This week we do not have a techniques and strategies video because there really isn't one, but there is a take and see action work video. So watch out for that. It's Monday night that I'm recording this, so I'm going to go ahead and make it live. And then I will get the other video up probably Tuesday, tomorrow night. So have a good one. Decide right now, are you the warrior? Or are you going to enjoy this energy creation that you're in? Bye, joyful manifestors.